What's up, y'all? This is Dubitdown. So in this video, I'm just going to tell you a few things you don't really need in the music business. First of all, you don't really need to make an email list. And people that use email lists are AI driven. And it's not good in the long run because only your organic growth will last. So email lists are like temporarily the cool thing to do, but people are eventually going to catch on that you're just spamming them, and they're not going to, you might get sales for the first year, but people are going to catch on to your little ways of manipulation, and people are going to not support you after about a year of making an email list. So I'm just saying email lists are pointless, and it's mostly AI driven. Nobody really runs an email list without having it AI driven. And, anything that's AI driven will not really last in the long run, but the organic growth that you build will last. So email lists are not really organic if you really think about it, and they're really not necessary because I don't have an email list on my music, and that's also the reason why I'm not don't have as many subscribers because of that. Because the email list, what it does also is, when they're AI driven, they get more subscribers when their platform is AI driven. And that's just the fact of the matter. You can look at my numbers and see what organic growth looks like, and you can tell my numbers are real organic. And I've been on YouTube for years. Over 10 years I've been on YouTube, and my growth is all organic on there. But, when people shoot up to like 3,000, 4,000 subs when they went from like a small channel, that's not organic. And that will not last when you build your growth to, they're just manipulating the system by making the AI driven is like, it goes out and finds you a bunch of, possible customers and a possible, subscribers, but it's not really, growth that will last in the long run. Only your organic growth will last. And this is the second thing that you don't really need is you don't really need a producer, manager. You don't really need to spend no money. You don't really need to go on touring, and you don't really need to do pay to play. And what's that saying? No, and yeah, you'll get real. The real reason is you don't really need those things is because I've done it by myself. I've had no producer. I had no manager. I had let me see here. No one making my videos. I made all my videos. I made all my music. I own 100% of my music. I didn't have a producer. I didn't have a manager. I never went on touring. And the thing is, you don't need to go on touring because you could do it. You could do it all from your house on your YouTube. You could do live shows from your YouTube. So really, what people need to start more really doing to save their money and save their resources is just start doing lives on your you could do live shows and sell tickets on YouTube. So I don't understand why people are not taking advantage of the YouTube where you could do shows on there. You don't, that's how you're really gonna, touring just costs too much money. You're not making anything. It's pay to play when you're on touring. It's not worth it. And I've done all my growth organically. I never went on touring, but I have done live shows where, I rapped occasionally on my live shows. I got my radio station on my live shows. So I get a little bit of growth like that, but you don't really have to go on touring. And, you don't really need a manager. You don't need a producer. You don't need to spend money. I didn't even spend no money making my music. I built my whole music catalog on the 35 or I'm sorry, I forget how much I spent $35 on 3 different cameras, I spent about 35. One was free, and then two of them I bought. But it was the same camera, so I spent about $35 altogether. But I haven't spent no money on my music other than I had someone add bass to it originally on my first 5 albums. And then I had a few other albums that I had add bass to it, and I had a producer do that. But then I figured out I could do it myself, so I stopped paying for that. And I did spend a little bit of money back when I first started on getting the bass added to my music, because what I recorded on was a digital camera, and it didn't have the bass that I needed, so I had to hire someone to do that, to add the bass. Then after about 20 albums or so, then I figured out I could add the bass myself. So it wasn't something that I needed to hire. But you don't need a producer, you don't need a manager, you don't even need money. If you set up if your equipment is not broke, you can record on your equipment. There's always different things you could add on the programs. When you make your music, you can add bass to it on a program. So you don't need a big recording studio to make your music. You could do everything. If you have the time to learn the different skills that will help you manifest better, then you could do it. The sky's the limit, because I've done all these things with no money, and let's see here. People use email and no email list. So I've done all these things without using these two. People say these are crucial things in your music growth, but I haven't done these things. I haven't went on tour, and I haven't had a producer manager, and I didn't spend no money, and I haven't I haven't done any touring. But the thing is, if you could the reason you don't really need to do touring is because you could do live shows from your YouTube. And you could, if you really think about it, you can sell on your YouTube. They might not give you a feature, but you can set it up your own way to sell tickets on your YouTube and then do a live show. So you don't really need the whole middleman of going on to touring to do all that shit. So I hope you guys had got a little insight out of this video. But I just want to tell you guys, people to me, since I've been doing my music career, people have been mean to me. So I don't know how other people get treated, but I get treated. People are mean to me for no reason, and I haven't made a lot of money on my music. I haven't and you can see what I posted on my post on the community tab, and you can see that I hit over 60 million on TikTok. So they tell me I hit 60 million somehow views or another, but I didn't get paid for that. But you can see 5 of my songs had added up to 60 million views. And I never got paid. I only got paid $3 on my TikTok so far. So I never got paid for that shit. But I've done all this without having to go on tour, make an email list, without AI, without a producer, manager, no money. And that's how you gotta kind of just stick to what you know. But you don't need all those things in your music business. You don't even need a big recording studio. Like I said, I'm on a Digimax i5 recording all my music, and I forget how much it cost, but I had 3 cameras altogether, and it was about $35 because I bought 2 of them, and 1 camera was a gift. But what happened is I dropped them a couple times, and they broke my camera, so I would buy the same camera on eBay. And this is the 3rd one. I'm not on it right now. I'm on my phone, my S24, my Samsung S24, which is the best phone I ever had, by the way. It's a very good phone. A lot of things I couldn't do without my phone, so big shout out to Samsung, for making a great phone, the S24. I've had no problems with it. It's been a been a career changer for me having this phone. So big shout out to y'all. You know what I'm saying? But these things you don't really, I've been trying to think about how to make this video for a little while now. But that's pretty much, I got pretty much everything I needed to cover in here. But, the last thing I could say for a little bit of advice is don't reject the one that was sent. You know what I'm saying? When you guys are judging people, but you don't realize you're rejecting the one that was sent. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens sometimes when you don't know people are chosen and gifted and spiritual. You rejected the one that was sent to you. So I hope you guys, had a little, got a little insight. Hopefully, I got all my points across. But this will just kind of end the video. And this is things that you don't really need to use in your music business that people overhype. But one thing is about the email list is, it might be beneficial. I'm not going to say that it's not. I'm just saying you don't really need it. You don't really need to do an email list. You can look at my website on how to run a website without an email list. And I've also had a few sales on my USB drive so far. I've sold 2 of them for $100 each. So you don't really need a email list, but what you do need to do is sometimes you need to advertise or run ads on your Facebook and your other platforms, which I don't have enough money to do that right now. But that's one thing you could probably do to make your growth increase. But as far as building an email list and needing a producer, manager, going on tour, needing to make a video maker, hire a video editor, hire a content creator editor, you don't need to do all that shit. You don't even need to write your rhymes on your raps. You could just go off the top of the head like I did. And also, you don't need a video editor. I made all my videos all my content creating videos without editing my YouTube videos. So I hope you guys, I hope this was a little insight for you. Don't want to keep rambling. I'm just going to go ahead and, I'm going to tell you about my USB drives. They're $100 on my eBay. And, I got 19 shirts remaining, so I'm giving a free CheckeredGooseApparel shirt away when you buy one of these when the remaining 19 shirts left. So you'll receive that free shirt. What that USB catalog is my whole music catalog of 995 songs. And that's you can look at it as my portable radio. And you can also look at it as my course because I'm teaching you how to rap in 90 days. And, 90 days to a year, you'll learn how to rap better. And it's 81 albums on it altogether. And you can look at it as 81 chapters in the course. So I hope this, hope this video was, insightful. And, hopefully you gain something from it. You can always sub to all my channels, all my platforms, and my website will be in the link in the description. So it's been a lot of fun. Dubitdown.